his team trying to win these team fights, and Reckless is on support duty for now.
Well, that's what Fnatic have been able to pivot to, right? I think if you look at the second half of the split, after Rift Rivals with Fnatic, started to play a little bit more meta, lean a little bit more on caps, lean a little bit more on SOAS. It wasn't all about just do everything to keep Reckless up and alive.
Oh, and that's a good thing for Fnatic, that obviously they can actually now look to caps once again on this Orianna. And also SOAS, who I actually think has been the best performing top laner in the LCS this split. And when he gets his hands on Gnar, if he can actually survive the Jace matchup, well, suddenly he might actually have a massive impact.
Do you think it's fair to say the Fnatic comp looks a little more linear, maybe a little easier to play, follow the Ashe Arrow or follow the Jarvan engage? What do you think?
I feel like the only thing that's hard to execute on G2's side is the Jace top lane, because what happens often in Europe with Jace top is he gets 1 or 2 kills in a lane, we all praise him, then he forgets he actually is a really good split pusher, he runs into the first team fight he sees, smacks head first into a wall, dies a few times, gets completely useless, and then we go like, man, Jace top suck, and then we never see it again. So this game from Expect, we actually don't want to see that. We want to see him win his lane, commit to the split push, and then only look for flanks when they actually already have good engage set up from G2's side with the Alistar, with the Gragas.
All right, so there we go. All the pressure on G2 and unlocking Jace, as it were. Let's see whether or not SOAS on this Gnar can shut him down. You know, Brox has done well. I must give a little shout out to Brox. It's his birthday today. Let's see whether or not he can give a present to Fnatic and pick up another series win.
I'm already voting for Brox as player of the series. Taylor was my runner-up, but Brox gets the first one.
Oh, the vintage memes today.
I used it on Twitter already, but I had to reuse it.
Vintage memes.
You know, we actually sometimes use too many memes in the ULCS, Trevor.
Oh, why do you have to remind people? That's what all the fun is about.
Is it really?
It is.
I think actually our jokes are great. Sometimes.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
But, yeah. Maybe it's our banter more than our jokes.
I think it's the banter.
Yeah, our jokes actually suck. We actually have terrible jokes.
We're definitely not like a one-liner type of joke show.
No.
But I must say that there's no jokes here today. G2 and Fnatic, deadly, deadly serious draft. It appears to be deadly serious start to the game. And again, it's scrim, it's practice. Even though, yes, it has no implications on the postseason.
Right.
You get to get inside your opponent's head a little.
Exactly. So in terms of standings, no implications. But I still think in terms of like confidence going into the next week for G2 eSports, because they're finally playing a quarterfinal for the first time actually since they joined the LCS over a year and a half ago. So for them, like they only have 1 week to get ready for the next game. Let's just pretend they get smacked 2-0. That doesn't feel great.
No.
You go in, you have 2 losses this week, suddenly you start questioning, maybe Sven is boosted, maybe the team comps are wrong, and then you suddenly want to change stuff. And that's not good. So you want to get, just a great game here, serious comps, good momentum, good confidence for the next week where they have to play against Splice.
Well, let's see whether or not the 2016 Summer Final delivers, because that was, of course, G2 versus Splice from last year. A little bit of shenanigans there from Mithy, pulling the wave as Sven decides to help out and then make his way back into lane.
Oh, look at that. Trick is already in the blue buff. Started there. Broxy finds him, though.
All right, early flash. Trick gets tagged up. Caps has found Trick. First blood available and for the taking. Caps and Brox are not going to find Trick. He's flashed over the wall. One more auto. Command attack for first blood.
So he started there at the blue buff, but Fnatic, they read the situation. Broxa, instantly after taking his own red buff, just rushed over to stop him. Actually, no, he must have started at the Raptors.
Hey, do you know what I remember during Picks and Bans? Was everybody listening to when Deficio said it was like that first week at MSI? And I was like, Brother Trick had just reappeared again on the Rift.
But so what he did was he started the Raptor camp, killed all the small Raptors with the Galio Q help so he could rush to blue buff. But there was a ward placed by Fnatic in the river. So yes, sure, you can blame him. But instead, Trevor, let's praise Fnatic for a great ward, reading the situation. So they find the Gragas. So this is after he's already killed his Raptors. This ward up here spotted Trick move in, and Broxer reacted instantly. And then I think Trick at this point literally just saved your flash.
Yep.
But technically he gets a flash in return, so it's not terrible for him. But you give up your kill or your life now, and Sucks.
Well, Trick goes down, first blood to Caps. What I really liked in that replay, I didn't notice just how early Soaz had also left his lane. So Fnatic, all on the same page, instantly, you know, surrounding Trick based on that vision.
Yeah, because we were looking bot lane, like my brain was like, oh yeah, the junglers, they're clearly on the first camp. And I was like, oh, he's on blue buff, what is he doing? And then suddenly, you forget for a moment, he of course started Raktus. But Perkz wants to be a bit aggressive. Wow. That is one thing you can do on Galio.
Great combo.
Your early laning phase is actually pretty strong. That's why you can still feel powerful. But soon you have to commit to the team. Expect, he's on Jace! No, don't kill him!
This is a champion whose laning phase is not very strong. Broxah gets the flash out with the flag and drag, and Expect, who was already in a weak start to the game, now flashless. That's going to complicate matters.
I mean, the problem is for Jace is he needs to snowball. He needs to get the advantage over the Gnar, otherwise you're just so weak in team fights. So if you fall behind, Gnar joins a team fight, massive Mega Gnar, MVP. Jace joins a team fight, deals a little bit of damage, dies, useless. So Expect here, he's going to need Trick to help him, or he's going to need Perkz at level 6 to help him, so he can actually get ahead in this lane. Right now, Trick obviously lost that flash from earlier, so his gank is not that impactful. And G2 eSports slowed down quite a lot after that start.
Yeah, so G2, a couple hundred gold down. Flashless, a couple of lanes. Both Caps, Expect, have some possibilities for being jumped on. I want to see whether or not Broxah can re-punish Expect if Expect keeps pushing that lane. Something that Broxah has done, I think, exceptionally well all split. His early game impact, he seems to be fairly versatile. You know, he can change different lanes for ganking, different styles.
And it's kind of impressive story of Broxah, because I remember when he joined, replacing Amazing, it was kind of like, oh, this is a rookie, he's not going to do a whole lot. Let's see bot lane.
A lot of damage, very good route. Blade Caller comes out, stun. Decent lock up there from Jez's. Manages to get the dazzle down, but forces heal, flash, and exhaust.
Yeah, very good engage here from Mithy. Actually, always playing very aggressive in lane with Alistar. Offensive summon a spell as well. Looking for the place. Trick! He's back in the jungle.
All right, let's see if Broxah can fend him off. Less support this time, because if you look at the minimap, both lanes pushing into Fnatic. Much more difficult to leave and roam and jump on Trick.
But back to Broxah real quick here. If the two junglers can stop potentially fighting each other. The fact that when he joined, we didn't know much about him, you know, this young Danish kid coming in. And then at first it looked like he could only play like ganking style. It was like, okay, Elise said that's the only thing Broxah can play, and he just needs to perma-gank, and otherwise he's useless. And then I remember the third place game, you know, we were in Hamburg. He first picks Ivern. We were like, what the hell? That's like not a Broxah champion. Does really well on it. He started playing tanks in this split, and as you said here, the fact he's been able to adapt to multiple patch changes as a very young jungler on a team that might not always be the easiest one to jungle for, because there's a lot of players who are asking for your assistance. Yes. Well, then it's actually very impressive.
Players asking for assistance like Caps, one of the new rookies as well, who's grown throughout the year. Deficio, if I were to ask you who the two most veteran players in the EU LCS were.
Soaz.
And?
Mithy.
Ooh, Reckless, in fact. And...
oh yeah, Reckless, yeah.
Exactly. So if you take a look at the top of your screen, Fnatic and G2, in terms of career EU LCS games, all 5 Fnatic members add up to 850, all 5 G2 members add up to 721. The scary thing about that stat, Soaz has played 310 games in the EU LCS. 310!
Every single... actually, almost every single split.
Yes.
Had to skip one, of course.
With Origin as they were re-qualifying. And of course...
I thought because Mithy obviously joined in Season 3 summer, so I'm like, okay, he's also been...
it's close.
But then he had to miss out on a few splits when he was also stuck in Challenger Series.
So, a couple of players here with hundreds of games to their name. So, as we just talked about him, 310 games takes a lot of damage. Remember, Trick coming to support, and I don't know if that ward just spotted him.
But it's what we talk about, you know, Expect getting some help up in the top lane to get ahead against Soaz. I think against the Jace here, if you are the Gnar, you can just go straight for Frozen Mallet. You don't actually have to rush like a Black Cleaver. Then you can just get a bit more HP under your belt, which can help you in some of these trades. A lot of different Jace builds. I've seen the classic Rush Duskblade, Ghostblade, and just go like full on lethality and try and one-shot everything. I personally normally like the Blaze of the Ruin King version.
Right.
A little bit more, when you can go like Duskblade as a third item. You are not as all-in with that style, but Expect, he wants to be all-in today.
He does indeed. Picks himself up, that serrated Dirk. Come back into lane. put some damage down against Soaz's plethora of swords. He's gone triple Dorans into longsword Ruby Crystal on that Gnar. So all sorts of laning power. I mean, we're getting close to 10 minutes, and Fnatic have farmed themselves up a sizable gold lead, actually, with the help of First Blood as well. And every time Reckless is firing his Hawkshot, just resetting vision on those camps, getting all of the information around Trick and what Trick could be doing, right?
Yep, they know there's no camps for him on top side. There's a blue buff available for him on bottom side, so they might just expect him to be down there. The Jace with the serrated Dirk. No early armor on Soaz. Meaning that Expect is doing a ton of damage.
I did not think that was going to happen. That's why I didn't interrupt. I mean, you didn't think that was going to happen. That's why you didn't set me up.
I mean, first of all, I thought... No, you know what? That was just great by Expect.
It was fantastic.
You know, no early Ninja Tabby for Soaz, so, you know, their lethality just kicking in instantly from Expect, and yeah, Soaz died with his flash job and everything. He did not expect it.
Deficio, I was listening to some casts with Medic and some of the caster basics and mechanics you're teaching people, you know?
Right.
How to do things.
Hey, Trevor, now we should talk about this fight.
Okay, I'll do that. Broxah got a little bit stuck in his own cataclysm there. Wobbles back and forth for a moment. Not quite sure what the cataclysm was going to do there. Regardless,
Try and force a flash.
Expect easily just backs away with one hammer to the face. And G2, realizing Brox is up top, easily push down this bottom tower. There's no one that can respond. Teleports on cooldown and Tau First Blood go to G2.
That was almost too easy for G2 eSports. First Expect gets to kill top lane, and then Trick just goes bot lane while Broxah is busy, you know, getting stuck in his own wall. And then suddenly that's first turret, and Cloud Drake being started as well, Trevor.
All right, so 10 minutes on the clock for that first dragon.
Is there no Cloud Drake stat?
No, it's nothing really exciting or specific about this one.
Oh, that's why Trick doesn't want to kill it.
There we go.
Walks away.
All right, let's take a quick look. You can see... Oh, this is a replay of the kill that caught us both off guard.
I mean, I think we were obviously expecting, you know, the flash to come in to avoid the big shock blast, and then it didn't happen. He died very quickly.
And I'm going to go back to something you talked about in Picks and Bans, Deficio. If Expect's Jace falls behind, the struggles he's going to have, and the power of the split push. If Expect is already winning the 1v1, and can keep doing that for a little while, at least, before Gnar starts to get tanky.
Again, remember, Gnar is still not sitting with any extra armor here. There's still no Ninja Tappy for him, so their damage from Expect is crazy if they can actually set him up again. Don't expect another 1v1 kill just to happen instantly. I think Trick or Perks might join, but he's probably going to try. Broxah, still with flash. Perks is pushing him away. So mid lane, funny enough, even though it was a hype matchup, it's been Orianna versus Galio.
And it's a farm lane.
It is.
It's about the team fights with both of those champions. Scaling on the side of Caps with Orianna, playing to the side lane, hitting that save me button when Perks decides to use his ultimate. Oh, ooh, cheeky. Caps with the advantage.
BM.
Interrupts the back.
Oh, Perks is a bit mad and he walks straight into lane.
Well, let's see if he can get the Justice Punch. I mean, it's interesting to see Sven and Mythi still not swap away from the lane. I was expecting well in the 1v1. You don't really want to end that.
Yeah, that's the thing,
He's rushed the Duskblade.
Yeah. So he's going all in for just pure damage right now. And that's why, again, they want to keep him 1v1. They don't actually want to, like, do crazy lane swaps. If they can go and get a tower with the swap, it's fine. But if you can set Expect up to try and kill Soaz again, that's even better for G2 eSports. So now they're gonna just go in because they know they can take this top lane tower. What they did bot lane, that's important to note, is they pushed the bot lane all the way into the tier 2 tower where Reckless is sitting, if you look at the minimap. And that allows them now to walk up to the top side of the map and just be really far ahead of Fnatic in terms of any place that can happen, because Reckless can't really leave his lane. So Rift Tower will die, top lane tower will die, and if Fnatic gets a bot lane tower in return, that's fine. That's a good trade for G2.
Yeah, definitely going to be in favor of the defending EU LCS champions. You can see Perks moving with the wave clear down bottom. He not only has teleport, but also that ultimate, if anything were to happen. Let's see how much damage Fnatic can get on the tower. Reckless with the F-Sword and a couple of long swords. Going to keep chunking this one down, but the new minion wave, this will make it pretty much certain for Fnatic. I'm looking at the rest of G2. Deficio, they haven't put pressure on the top lane. I mean, they've got that Rift Herald if they want to unlock mid lane at some point.
Yeah, and the top lane tower is so low that it's technically not dead, but it's almost dead. Like, it requires one push in from Expect and they're going to get it.
I have to keep you, technically correct.
You are technically correct as well there, and keeping me technically correct.
I'm just working with you here. And Ninja Tabble was picked up by Soaz and is lost back.
Fnatic brush. Perks brush.
Let's see if he walks into a Fnatic brush. Not going to yet.
Well, he's walking into all of them. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Pretty brave. Not a lot of vision set up from G2. I look at the mini-map. Defensive wards from Fnatic. What do you think of those pinks behind mid tower? Definitely gonna help protect Caps, right? Prevent Trick coming in from behind with that barrel.
Trick, and they're also the anti-Alistar wards, because Alistar is always the support who loves to roam in behind the mid laner, go for the crazy dive where you can't really stop him, and those two control wards by Fnatic near the mid lane will actually spot Methy if he's trying any crazy flanks early on. So they're learning from certain other LCS teams who forgot to place those wards and died multiple times. I'm maybe looking at Misfits and Power Weevil here against Spruddle's Alistar.
Well, it definitely ended up costing Misfits, didn't it?
It did, a week ago.
Deficio, you did see Cloud Drake going down. I know it is your favorite Drake. If I were to ask you how many Cloud Drakes these two teams have got the split, do you have an inkling?
I need a hint.
You need a hint?
Like, do it combined or each?
So let's go with each. Let's go with each. I'll tell you that G2 have 10% more Cloud Drakes than Fnatic, and both of them are in double digits.
Yeah, of course they're double digits.
Of course they are. I mean, they're like two winners. So I'll tell you what.
I'm gonna
22.
I was gonna say 22.
Well, of course you were. Now you got the
I was
answer.
totally gonna say 22.
Well, 22 Cloud Drakes for the defending champions and only 20 for Fnatic.
What a shame.
It's just shocking. 2 Cloud Drakes less, and they're running for the title.
I mean, I think it tells us something about, getting Cloud Drakes.
It does. They're just not that appealing to the old kings of Europe, Fnatic.
They understand the meta. Methy also understands the meta on this Alistar. Once again, denying us a lot of cowbell. Apparently last time he did actually do it in base, just when the game started.
I actually asked him about it in the post-game interview.
Right.
And
I also got called out on Twitter because I said he didn't do it. But that happened. I expect, as I said before, technically didn't kill the tower, but now he did. So G2 gets the advantage a little bit later, but they get it.
Well, it feels like G2 are in control of the map. They got the first tower, they got the second tower, they've roamed a little bit more, they've got the Rift Herald waiting to be sprung on an unsuspecting lane. And Fnatic, as we go past 15 minutes, I mean, they've got one-item spikes pretty much across the board, almost there for Soaz. Now I need to see Reckless's arrows. Can he find any picks? Can he set something up? Well, Trick is already going to get the shockwave forced. He gets bounced backwards. Rift Herald's going to be focusing down the tower. Trick gives his life, and Fnatic turn around. What was a Trick engage?
That was a combo. Before Gragas got nerfed, that could have worked really well for him, but a great reaction from Caps with the flash and arrow.
Gets the flash out of Perks. Now all of a sudden G2 are defending. That was a fantastic turnaround from Fnatic.
That engage just came out of nowhere from Trick. Like, he placed down the Rift Herald at the same time, and then he went for the fight to try and get Caps away from the lane with the wave clear, but Jace was still in the side lane. Mithy wasn't even nearby. Re-engage.
All right, let's see what Mithy can do. Forced to use the ultimate. Hero's entrance comes down from Perks. The wave has been killed, and G2 hold on to their tower. They've lost the gold lead for now, but Fnatic, when grouped, have the advantage, it feels.
And when G2 uses Rift Herald, their own tower drops down to 10% HP. They barely even got to hit the Fnatic tower on the other side because they all died, or Trick died, and that's enough to actually then force all of them back to this mid lane tower. It will die now. Fnatic suddenly getting the advantage in the mid lane. It looked like a G2 play for a moment.
That's how I set it up. G2 have map control, G2 are in the lead, and then this happens.
So they want to get rid of the wave clear. Right now, 2 members of G2 are not here. They're not near the mid lane.
Sorry, we're going to jump back because Perks is in trouble, running away from Fnatic. And that's Caps with the killing spree to take him down.
All right, this Orianna who wanted to scale, who we said, it's more about Caps than Reckless in this game because Reckless will struggle to deal a lot of damage on Ashe here against all the big tanks and engage on the side of G2 eSports. Well, now this Orianna is sitting with 3 kills already at 18 minutes. Mid-lane tower is already dead. Fantastic start for Caps. And suddenly, G2 eSports finding himself quite far behind within just like 2 minutes of play.
Yep, 2 minutes and 2 plays, right? Trick jumps onto Caps, it backfires, Perks gets caught out. Expect now with this Duskblade and another serrated Diak, he's pushing mid,
Uh-huh.
but can he stay in a side lane if his team is falling behind?
Well, that is kind of the goal for him as Jace. Let's talk again about lethality and some of the issues for him now that he might, run into. There will be more armor stacking on Soaz and Broxah the later we go into this game, which meaning the lethality will not be very effective against those two guys. So Expect's job in a fight, if he wants to get the maximum out of his damage, is actually to find Reckless from a potential flank or find Caps. And then see if you can actually nuke them down with your lethality. But that's so hard to do on Jason fights. It's so hard to play him in team fights.
Especially when there's a Jarvan, Gnar, and Taric potentially body blocking. If you look at the bottom right corner of your screen, Fnatic grouping around the top lane. It looked like they were setting up for something, but G2 not falling prey. Trick and Mithy were in the area. They backed away. And as it stands, Fnatic kind of reset the map. They've got a lot of vision around that Baron. It will spawn in about 30 seconds.
But this time Expect got to push up bot lane. He can now roam first, so the window is his to use. Currently he is staring down Broxah, trying to take a red buff. There's no Drake alive for another 20 seconds, so technically he can't actually use that little opening he found before. Do it again though, and this time around Drake will be alive, and you can actually go take the Drake while Reckless is busy killing the wave under his own tower.
Well, looking at itemization as we get close to mid-game. 20 minutes in, Infernal Drake's up. Ooh. Both teams willing to fight for it.
Yeah, baby.
So as the teleport's available, he'll be a little late to this fight. But if he can get that Gnar bar charged up, G2 have to respect it.
No flash on Caps right now for the potential fight. Mithy can look for him.
Teleport coming down for Soaz. Dragon not going to be stolen away. G2 pick up the Infernal. Brox is on the front line. Where's the Cataclysm? As the Cosmic Radiance has already been used. Soaz forces away Perks at the top of the screen. Trick, body slam flash, needs a target. It's going to be Soaz. Soaz in Gnar. He's about to time out. Trick has used a barrel, but it didn't do anything. Hero's entrance comes down. Nobody's died yet. Reckless tagged low. Heal gets him to safety, and everybody disengages.
Cap stayed so far back in that fight that G2 eSports could not properly engage onto him. And instead, they actually end up being pushed down towards the side. It's Fnatic pushing for the mid lane tower.
Oh, a lot of damage coming up. Perks with flash available. Not going to get the taunt from the Durand. Wave clear now, or wave cleared now, I should say. And the tower takes 75% HP. While G2 get their second Drake of the game. Is the Infernal.
That's a close one right there. Broxah jumping in, trying to get a piece of that cake. Meanwhile, we actually get a teleport right now from Perks and Expect.
All right, one was cancelled. That was, in fact, Perks. Expect's going to finish his. A little bit of miscommunication, maybe. I don't really know. But G2, they're setting up for a counter siege.
They're taking notes of the last series we watched, and they just want to have a little bit of fun and jump in and fight all the time, because that teleport from Expect was not great. Unless it was a tempo TP. Straight back in lane.
Well, that seems to be the case, Officio. Minion Wave is making its way down, and G2 looking to go under tower. Remember, Perks with that flash, doesn't use it yet. Ash Arrow catches Perks, but that's a 3-man knockup. Mithy may have saved the team. All of a sudden, Fnatic fall back. G2 take their third tower. Shockwave catches Expect, but the Feather Storm and Blade Caller gets one. Accelerated Shock Blast takes a second. G2, 2 kills, and the tower.
And this time they get the right engage here. We talk about all the big tanks, and Mithy leading the charge here, always trying to set up the fight. Successful engage from G2 eSports straight towards the Baron. Let's see, Fnatic right now. Broxah full HP, Smite is available.
All right, Broxah, can he steal? Can he get in and out? Cataclysm and Flash is up as well. Full HP, G2 on the defensive while Reckless is pushing the mid lane.
All right, so you will get down the mid lane tower. Baron drops. Poor Broxah was forced away straight away, and Fnatic losing that fight and losing the Baron as well.
All right, G2 just regain map control.
This game swings back and forth all the time. This engage is fantastic from Mithy and G2 eSports. Like, it's actually Fnatic starting the whole fight, but then the combo from Mithy, all the carries from Fnatic actually getting hit. Reckless forced to flash instantly. Caps the same, and great follow-up here from Sven to secure the kill, and Taric falls. And it's what we talk about, you know, when you play some of these low mobility carries against engage like Alistar and Gragas, you will get caught out.
Yes.
You will be forced to flash, and if you then are dropping too low, well, you can't rejoin the fight. Caps tried, and he ended up going down for it.
The hype video for today was, of course, Sven and Reckless playing chess. And that was a very apt video because that's what this game feels like. They're trading pieces, you know, trading those pawns, trading those knights. 3 kills apiece, 3 towers to 4, but it's G2 that have got the more juicy ones. 2 dragons under their belt. They've got a Baron, and now they're already setting up the siege on the inhibitor turrets. Officio, there's a lot of Fnatic fans in the audience, and they're a little bit stunned because Fnatic's engage on Sven just fails.
Sven with the Xayah, almost impossible to hit the ulti on. Perks wants to buff up the minions in the mid lane. And a back and forth game like this is exactly why I'm just hoping we get G2 Fnatic in playoffs, facing each other, because both teams are very close in terms of level.
Oh, I'd love to see the Baguette wielder Soaz on the final stage in Paris again. See what Fnatic can do. I mean, it's been a long time since Fnatic was very good. It's been a long time since Fnatic's 18-0 record in the summer splits. And G2 for 3 splits back to back to back. They have been the best team. This is the resurrection of Fnatic, and you can see both franchises' best win-loss record over the last few years.
Yeah, we have to remember G2 eSports were undefeated in terms of series for a full year until they lost, funny enough, to Rocket, as always. And then Rocket have done it a few times against other teams with bot lane.
All right, Barrel comes out. Soaz is able to escape. Flash still available to him, but the base is broken open. Ash Arrow from Reckless. Where does that enchanted crystal arrow go? If it hits a target, that's how Fnatic can engage.
Yeah, but you're hitting on Mithy right now. It's so hard for Reckless to do anything on this Ash here. There's a million tanks in front of him. He doesn't want to hit with the arrow. There's a Xayah you can't hit with the arrow because of her ulti. Makes it almost impossible to succeed as an Ashe in this game.
Would you have preferred a Twitch, hindsight being 2020? Would it have made a difference?
It's hard to say
tough,
if it would have
right?
made a difference. In the mid-game, Ashe, of course, could actually do something with arrows, but if you are going to try and kill tanks in the late game, then yes, I would prefer the Twitch above it, but the laning phase would have been a lot weaker, so there's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
Do you want to suck more in lane, or do you want to be better in lane? Do you want to, be better late game?
Well, those are the questions that teams have to answer. And if they don't necessarily use what they land on, use their answer in the right way, that's how you see these situations where G2 have a gold lead, they've broken open Fnatic's base. I mean, they used that Baron so well.
Yeah, if we just, step away from just, the last pick AD carry and look at the draft itself, like, what happened was all these mobile AD carries like Caitlyn, Kalista, Tristana, they were all banned. So when Fnatic first picked the Jarvan, they left open Xayah that was locked in instantly by Sven, and that meant that 4 mobile AD carries, all gone. Nothing left for Reckless to play if he actually wants to, try and be safe in the game.
Yeah.
And I think he just made the call towards the end, like stronger laning phase, get a bit of utility from the Ashe, and then rely more on Gnar and Jarvan, and of course Orianna. And I can't really fault him for the call.
Yeah.
But we see right now how hard it is for Reckless to do anything.
Yeah, those Ash arrows just not working while we were breaking down the G2 comp. Of course, they picked up that Mountain Drake. There's no way that Fnatic can get away from that Earth, Wind, and Fire composition. There's reasons that Fnatic are behind in this game. And we'll see whether or not the fantasy of taking down G2, the defending champions, is going to come true.
I love that you're trying.
I am. It's a reference that only a few oldies will know.
Can Reckless and Fnatic get back in this game here? It's still only 3,000 gold in favor of G2 eSports, so it's by no means over if you just look at, the gold difference. But then when you look at G2 eSports, already now 3 items on Sven, the tanks are so hard to take down, and this Jace, 2-0-1, has committed to the side lanes and never all in a team fight.
Yep.
Expect always joins in, shoots a few shock blasts, try to hit the back line, and then he waits for the proper engage before he goes in.
Expect didn't need to, right? He's got that 3rd item now, Black Cleaver, Ghost Blade, Dusk Blade as well. G2 played the map, they used that Baron to split up. Weren't really looking for big engages. You mentioned it as well. Officio perks going mid, buff up the minions. And it feels like G2 will just wait for the next Baron and either
look at Mithy.
force Fnatic's hand to come to them in the pit, or secure Baron safely, and then just knock over the last few objectives.
Exactly. You know Expect will keep pushing the bottom lane. There's no tower in front of him. There's an inhib he can start hitting if he actually goes really far in towards the base and if all of Fnatic are showing themselves on the map. But otherwise, you already got the control ward set up. Like, the next Baron, G2 eSports barely need to do any extra work to actually start it because they've already set up everything beforehand, and now they're just protecting those wards and keeping Fnatic pushed down to the base.
It's very exciting if not only this series continues, this level of play and tension, but also what it means for the playoffs. If G2 and Fnatic bring this level of play.
I mean, the good thing is for the team who loses, they can just say the game didn't matter.
Yeah.
We were just having fun.
Oh, so you've already got the excuses prepared, is what you're saying.
It's literally there. Like,
right.
I'm expecting someone to start fake laughing towards the end when they lose the first game, being like, yeah, troll picks.
Whoa, look at that, by the way. Soaz, with Ninja Tap in randos, gets chunked to 30% by Expect's 3 items.
Well,
feels bad, man.
It does feel very bad. Soaz never really got in this game here on the Gnar after he got solo killed top lane. Normally, you want to be able to actually have a little bit of side lane pressure on Gnar, and then you can...
It's your fault, by the way.
You know, jump into team fight. Why?
Because at the beginning of the game, you said that Soaz was the best top lane performer all split.
Oh yeah, it's true.
And because you dropped that line,
it's true.
He's doomed to fail.
Medic and myself, we found the counter to that, though. It is if we both say it, it actually removes the curse.
All right, well, we'll do a test in the next game.
Let me do a test now. Mithy will have another great engage in this game. Now, you need to say the same.
Mithy's definitely going to have a great engage this game.
There we go. We removed the curse.
002. Flash and Moby's available to him, and Baron is live. So Deficio, if there were an opportunity, it would be now.
All right. Oh, I don't know. All right. Fnatic will secure the Baron, man. They will get the Baron.
Fnatic will secure the Baron. Let's see if the double negative makes it a positive. Trick waiting in the wings as Expect will take down the inhibitor. He has not channeled the teleport. Expect continues to pressure. Trick goes in. Not going to be able to steal it. The double negative means Fnatic gets Baron. But can they get back to save their base? Enhanced recalls means Soaz and Reckless should be able to get back. Now Expect is running for his life. G2 cannot stop anymore. Expect forced to flash already. Manages to transform. Soaz gets the crunch and Caps gets the kill. Now Jesus is the target in the top lane as he's taken down by Trick.
All right, Expect stayed in the bottom lane, got 1 Nexus turret and the inhib. He's dead for 40 seconds now, but the rest of G2 eSports alive, full HP. No Baron buff. Went over to Fnatic. Broxa secured it with the help of Caps. Caps got the last hit, but obviously the jungler, part of that setup. G2 eSports will be unhappy losing a Baron when they were actually ahead in this game. But they got at least an inhib and a Nexus turret, so if you put the Jace back down there, you might get another one.
While it was almost trivial. G2 had all of the vision, they had the map control.
But they lost it.
Pushed them away and contested the vision.
Yeah, the reason Fnatic could push them away because they sent Soaz to the mid lane, so it was 5v4. They just pushed up mid, walked in, cleared the river, started the Baron instantly. They knew they need to rush down Baron, secure it, because they can't stop the Jace in the split push right now. And while losing 1 Nexus turret and the inhib sucks, at the same time, you getting the Baron, the most important part is G2 did not get the Baron. They could not use the Baron to push it for the win.
Fnatic fans in Berlin, I'm sure you saw the loss to Ninjas in Pajamas, where we almost had the backdoor shenanigans. There's a possibility with teleports up. Expect and Perks can do the same. And we'll see whether or not Fnatic can defend their base, their last remaining Nexus turrets.
Yeah, no ward being placed in Fnatic's base by G2 eSports. Not possible for Expect to do it. So they can't TP anywhere other than that control ward in the top lane.
I'm going to say yes.
Yet. I mean, that control ward is very far away. Right now, Fnatic with the Baron buff want another turret. They really want to force Perks back to try and help defend.
Well, Fnatic, after losing their inhibitor turret, the equivalent of maybe a queen in chess.
Reckless tried another arrow and was ulted by Sven.
Soaz is going to back away. Notice that Perks was missing. Soaz backs, whether that's to defend potentially or not, don't know. Either way, Fnatic aware of it, and of course, there's still some objectives to knock over. Fnatic will secure their first dragon, and look at Soaz push the wave out, walk past the control ward, and the outer turret top seems to be the targets.
All right. Very low turret. Might as well get the goal, trying to even out the score a bit more here for Fnatic. In terms of items, they're all very close to each other. Still Sven slightly ahead here with 4 fully completed items. But Caps got his Void Staff. Expect, though, he's having a great time in this game. We talked about Source being probably the best performing top laner this split. I think a guy like Expect lately, definitely getting up there.
Yep.
Other guys as well, like Odo Amna, challenging for that position. A lot of guys actually really sitting and competing for the top spots if we look here at the different teams in Europe.
Yeah, everybody feels like they're peaking at the right time for some of the teams, actually. Well, Brox is going to go in, Cataclysm in, flag and drag out, holds on to his flash. Mithy finds the disengage. Shockwave pulls Perkz backwards. Perkz is now flashed to safety. Gets caught up. A 4-man stun to the Durand. Jez is knocked backwards as the Cosmic Radius keeps him alive long enough for Reckless to get the kill. Burning through the tanks. G2 eSports on the retreat, and Expect he's going to look for a flank. Going to look for a shot blast onto Reckless. Going to be body blocked by Jez's.
This game is so fun. Right now, Fnatic with the great Taric ulti here from Jez's. They survived the first engage. They can re-engage and actually just keep hitting Perkz. Yes, it takes time, but if the G2 eSports guys can't actually do anything in return, well, suddenly the tanks are not that scary with their lack of damage.
Yeah.
Expect was not in that fight because he was dealing with Soaz, who TP'd in behind. It was only Sven there to deal damage.
Simply not enough. Especially when Expect is on that 4-item spike. GA picked up. Guys, it's 35 minutes into the game, and we are bang on even. Towers in favor of G2, but Fnatic have survived the onslaught, and they find themselves a few fights to win. But look at the teleports. This is going to cut off Fnatic's retreat. Perkz and Expect potentially available to jump in. Expect's running down the river. Caps already used Cleanse, and that's a good stunner to Expect. It's long. Perkz goes forward to the Durand. Trick over the wall. No explosive cask available to him. Knockup comes in from Broxer. Cosmic Radiance will buy some time. That's another for Reckless. The Fnatic faithful go mad here in Berlin. Another stun onto Trick. Mithy finds the engage to Fisher, and I've correctly predicted. 2-man Shockwave onto Sven and Expect. Broxer not going to find anything with a Cataclysm. That makes it a double for Reckless. A triple as the fight extends. Expect with GA. Sidesteps. Gets accelerated shock blast. Easy target going to be available here as he comes back from the GA. And Jesus gets the kill.
And we talked about how hard it is as a Jace to join these team fights properly. And you can see at G2 eSports, despite having that fed top laner, are simply not able to win the fights at the moment. The tankiness, due to the Taric ulti on the side of Fnatic, makes it very difficult for G2 eSports to burst someone down. And now, Reckless been able to sit there in the back of multiple fights, just shooting and shooting and shooting, and actually picking up quite a few kills.
Well, now all of a sudden, G2 have to defend. 10 seconds for Trick, 25 for Expect. Fnatic, how brave are you? 1 minute to Baron.
No reason to risk it. You've just been winning 2 fights in a row. You don't have to go all in for some Nexus rush. They do step away. 3rd Baron suddenly looking like the big target.
It will indeed. Fnatic now have a 5,000 gold lead. We're hitting the late game, and this is the teleport that started it all.
Yeah, so Perkz comes in with TP. The carries of G2 eSports are joining now, but Expect he gets arrowed by Reckless, so he's not dealing any damage. Sven is not in the fight yet either. This is just Perkz taking damage for free. Nothing is actually being put back on towards Fnatic. And as you can see in this fight here, if part of your front line is splitting up and going in on its own and the carries can't follow, well then, Reckless and Caps are feeling safe. They can deal damage. They can take their sweet time to actually just nuke down, I say nuke, poke down these tanks and then finish them in the end. Chip away on them. Like, Expect in that fight barely got to do anything. Sven barely got to do anything before Perkz had already died. Fnatic are playing the fights better at the moment.
And now you can see why both Fnatic and G2 came into this match with a serious mindset, with a serious scrim mentality. Let's take a look at Soaz and Expect as this could turn serious. Soaz not going to use the Gnar yet. Ash Arrow flies wide. Expect turns it 1,500 hit points. Shock Blast is jumped away from. Soaz didn't fancy any more of that fight. And G2 and Fnatic, they're trading blow for blow. They're trading objective for objective. And Mithy's now caught behind enemy lines. Reckless is already flashed, maybe out of fear of the hero's entrance. Cosmic Radiance comes down. It's an extended fight. Soaz waiting for the TP. Hasn't pulled the trigger as far as I can see. Fnatic
now.
have not pulled it yet. Here comes Soaz to Fischio.
Mithi is right now behind Fnatic. Takes the blast cone out. Baron is alive. No summoner spells for Reckless. That could be key for the next fight. But we've seen now so many different fights where G2 eSports, they send in Perkz, the carries can't follow first, Perkz dies, and then the carries are trying to do something like the last fight we saw the graph. 6,000 damage from Sven, but all of that came after Perkz had already died, and it was them running away, so it just simply wasn't enough to actually kill anyone on the side of Fnatic, and we gotta follow the next fight here for G2 eSports. Can they combine the engage with the carries joining instantly?
Teleport's almost available for Perkz, and if you look at the minimap, there is a blue G2 ward just at the bottom left of your screen there.
Yeah, but you're Jace. It's so hard to TP in behind us, Jace. You might have to do it now.
He may have Hero's Entrance available. Perkz doesn't have it yet. Mythi's going forward. Catches him. Trick steals away the Baron. Caps is the target for now. Headbutted. Where's the damage, G2? It's simply not here. Sven and Perkz running for their life. Trick goes down and Soaz gets hyper. Tries to catch out Perkz, who is dunked down with a Cataclysm. His flash becomes available and instantly used. Okay, G2, 3 members to defend and Baron buff.
Let's see if Fnatic, they're rushing towards the Nexus. They got super minions already on the turret. Sven is recalling. He's already back in base now, but 5 members of Fnatic incoming.
Deficio, I've seen this movie before with Fnatic pushing onto a Nexus turret, pushing onto the Nexus. Let's see if this time they can finish it. Broxer, flag and drag, finds no knockup. Sven and Expect chunk him down. 2,000 hit points as he backs away. Nexus turret number 1 is down. The cheers in the crowd as Cosmic Radiance keeps Fnatic alive. Featherstorm and Bladecaller buy some time, but Fnatic fight back and take down G2.
This is why we want to see more games of Fnatic versus G2 eSports. Back and forth trading, advantages for one team, then it turns. Suddenly we see Baron calls. Some succeeded, some failed. We saw Trick steal a Baron in the end away from Fnatic, but it was another fight. 3 team fights in a row in the late game without having replayed them properly, but that I saw where the front line of G2 would go in. The carries, Sven and Expect, could not follow.
Yep.
And I want to see the damage graphs before anyone actually dies and just follow it until the first tank dies and see how much damage did Sven and Expect deal before either was it Mithi or was it Perkz ended up dropping. Because most of these late game fights, you would see one of the tanks die and then suddenly Fnatic would start chasing. And yes, you can deal a bit of damage as Sven, but you're running away. You're not going to win the fight then.
And good luck running away from Gnar, Ashe, Orianna. Multiple cooldowns on the slows, the ability to just keep chasing you.
And then a Taric
Stick
ulti.
to you as well.
And a Taric ulti when you finally think, okay, now we turn. Jess's ulti comes down. No one will die. And it was difficult. You said, or you asked, actually, after Champ Select, like, is it hard to play the G2 comp? Yada, yada, yada. Like we talked about the Jace specifically, how hard it is to execute him, towards these team fights.
Yes.
And we saw it here from Expect. It was hard for him to actually get in and do something because he needs to get onto like Reckless and Caps with this lethality build. Never allowed to.
He wasn't able to do so. That meant G2 were unable to take down Fnatic, who took down a G2 in response. Here's Dracos and the boys to break it down.
Thank you, gentlemen. A very intense game. I think it's safe to say I want to start by looking at the picks and bans because I feel like, as the casters already mentioned, it's 2 very different compositions and what they're trying to achieve. And just to start us off, I want to talk a little bit about the mid lane matchup. It was our focus before. We had Caps playing the Orianna. We have, of course, the Galio on the opposite side for Perkz and Power as our on-desk mid lane expert. What is your impression of this matchup? I know it's not the most exciting one.
Well, it's pretty simple. The Orianna just wants to scale and has, like, I guess, the clock ticking against the Galio because at 3-4 items, depending on the team compositions, she just outscales the Galio and deals way more damage in team fights and can pull all this like magical shockwave where she can just win a team fight alone. And the Galio goal is to ult to side lanes and kind of push a mid lane, ult to side lanes. But I felt like he couldn't really do it this game since on bot lane, they had like hard winning bot lane, so they got a turret. And afterwards, there was like not a real, how to say, like engage possibility since Fnatic bot lane played really safe. And on top lane, they have the Jace counter pick against the Gnar, but the Jace can't really lock down the Gnar, so you can't really get kills there as well. So you can only get like the turret advantage.
And that was an interesting thing that you were talking during the game, is not only can the Jace not lock down the Gnar, the Jace doesn't provide a reliable way for Galio to get into the fight either. You were saying if he's not sticking to Gnar, you can't ult in. It's only then Trick that is an option to bring the Galio into the fight, and that made it a little bit more difficult for that mid lane matchup outside of just the lane.
And one of the things I want to praise is we saw G2 find some of those early advantages. You talked about bottom lane. We saw even expect getting that solo kill on the top side, but Fnatic still gave so much respect over G2 and their composition as we look in at our first replay. Looking at a post-Infernal, what could have very well been a fight from the side of Fnatic. Power, why don't you walk us through this?
I think in this team fight, you can see really good that Fnatic is playing the compositions perfectly. They go in, but they instantly run out, and they're like, I guess, kiting backwards, and they kind of try to split the G2 apart. So Galio is Knar's chasing the Galio, so he can't really join the fight, and they just never give the opportunity to Galio to ult in. And you can see the Trick flash Gragas engage, but they have like nothing else besides the Gragas flash engage. So if the flash of Gragas or Alistar's down, the only opportunity that they have is, I guess, Alistar flank. We saw it a few times in the game, but I think Fnatic played really, really good here, and you could see clearly that if G2 doesn't get like a really good engage with the Gragas or the Alistar, Fnatic's comp is just way better by kiting back. They have the Gnar to kite back with the Frozen Mallet. They have the Arena slows and shields coming in. Ashe is really, really good at kiting back, and they can always, like, they can always make a comeback with the Taric ultimate if they want to, after they chunk them down.
And also with the Orianna Shockwave, like we saw Caps using the ball to zone away. One thing Fnatic did really well is never give up objectives for free or anything like that. Even on the Rift Herald play, it was actually G2 that lose their turret from it, because Fnatic moved Caps into a position where they can defend and then push down a tower. They did it at the end of that replay where they say, okay, you got the dragon, but that doesn't matter because we already have the in on mid lane and we can push G2 away.
And despite the success, however, that Fnatic saw over the course of this game, there were still a few moments where we had some question marks. We're going to take a look at one particular mid lane dive, well executed on the side of G2, but we have to keep our eyes on Caps in this one.
So the situation occurred that Fnatic got already the turret mid lane, they sieged up, and now it's the counter push by G2. And I think Fnatic should have just spaced and give up the turret, get the tempo. And here G2 gets a really good engage, and Caps is creating a lot by doing a shockwave. I was questioning a little bit since, first of all, they should have just given up the turret. Like, they got so much and they have the scaling comp, you don't need to risk it. But since they stayed, they need to play really safe, because if one guy drops low life or one guy goes down, it's free Baron for G2, and that's, I would say, the only comeback they can do, or the only play which can kind of bring G2 back into the game or snowball the game out of control. So Caps overstepping there for the shockwave was hurting Fnatic a lot and nearly lost the game for them.
It nearly did, but it didn't in the end. I feel like this was an incredibly back and forth game. Fnatic were still able to come back in the end. Stress, I mean, what was your impression of just the late game play from Fnatic? To me, it was just a lot of confidence in what they were trying to do.
And it's one of the reasons why I think Gnar Orianna in phase 1 for Fnatic is so strong. They're blind pickable, they're decent in lane, they have great late game team fighting as well. And although G2 had some picks that can deal with it, you see that at some point Orianna comes online and Gnar will have team fight presence as long as you balance that Mega Gnar bar right to get into a fight. And that's what Fnatic were able to do, is they had good engage with Jarvan, and then the follow-up from their solo laners is just easy to pull off. That's why Fnatic are able to come back into the late game fights.
And just to round this out, Power, I'm curious if you think this win is more of Fnatic out-drafting G2 or Fnatic out-playing G2 in game.
I honestly think you need to praise Fnatic a lot by coming back into the game. I think the game was really lost after that play. But Fnatic did this really risky Baron call where they just rushed on the Baron. It's a 50-50, or I would say maybe like a 70-30, since they have the Orianna Shockwave combining it with the Smite. And it's such a pressure situation since the Jace is literally in your base, so far in, and they just pull out this play, which is incredibly risky and ballsy. And you need to credit a lot whoever did this shot call, since it's like, that was, I would say, the only comeback for Fnatic afterwards. And they just managed to pull it off. And I just think it was, I would say maybe besides G2 and Fnatic, no one would have done that call. And I think even us, we would have not done that, and we would have just lost.
Well, it's a brave play for sure. Well, now Fnatic are on the verge of taking a big win against G2. We'll find out if they can close the series when we return. We'll be back in just 3.5.